Fereshteh Taerpour.
Yes.
Welcome to Sweden.
Thank you.
We have seen your movie, Facing Mirrors, now. How did you get the idea behind the movie?
In fact, me and the director were working on another idea as a scenario, and during talking together, we talked about the two individual stories that we had in our minds. I had the story of the taxi driver who faces many difficulties during she's working to earn money for her life when her husband is in the jail. And she had some memories from a young person in her neighborhood during when she was a new adult, and that he was going to change his gender and ought to leave the area after doing that. And she kept in her mind how painful it was for him and the behavior of the people around him for that. And when we were talking about these two ideas, I suggested her to leave the other scenario aside and ask her to work on these two stories and mix them together and bring out a new one that in that we can have two characters with completely opposite side of the society and differences, and going on with them to talk about this subject. At the beginning, the most important thing for us was the differences between two characters. But as much as we went further, we find how important is the subject of transgenders around the world and also inside Iran. And we had a research about it. We met many people in this field, especially the director and Ghazale, who was on that moment the set designer and the costume designer of the film. And as much as we find out more information about this, and also about it is lawful in Iran after Imam Khomeini's fatwa to change the gender, we find out that it's a very serious subject, that we cannot only look at it as a story. And we have to be careful about what we are talking in our films, and each sentence can be very important to, explain that what we are going to talk about, that it is the humanity, and also looking at the other people and ignoring the differences and consider them as a human when they are in such a situations.
There has been done documentaries in Iran before on this topic, but not artistic movies like this.
This is the first one. In fact, as a feature film, which is made for the people, for audiences in the theaters, not as a documentary. And but the style of the making of the film, the directing of the film, and also the information that we are explaining in the film, brings it to a documentary feature, a mix of documentary feature somehow. And because it's a very realistic, and it doesn't have some exaggerations that you can find in the features, but in a simple film, which is more realistic, and you can feel it and you can find it around yourself in your life, it helps the film to have this style and, be believable more than a feature.
Your film is now being shown in Sweden. It has previously been shown on film festivals in Iran. It has also been shown on various LGBT film festivals around the world.
Yes.
You said that your best reception for this movie was in the more conservative city of Qom, south of Tehran in Iran. And the second best reception was at the LGBT film festival in San Francisco.
Yes.
How do you explain that?
The Frame Line was the name of the festival. After 15 festivals that the film was attended, that more important among them was the Syracuse Film Festival, National Geographic Film Festival, that normally doesn't accept feature films, but about this film they opened a special case to consider this film among the films, and also winning the Washington Film Festival as the best feature. Then I had the help of an American distributor only for festivals. In fact, now there is a company in Los Angeles who is taking care of the festival's planning of the film beside me. I'm working also in this field, especially around the countries in the Asia or in Europe, but in America and also in Europe, he is more active than me. And it was by him for the first time that the film opened its way to the LGBT film festivals. And at the beginning, it was strange for me. I was doubtful about accepting or not. But then I realized, and I made some, advice. I got some advice from the people in Iran that, okay, this film is talking about my society, about my culture, and about looking at this case through the eyes of Iranian people, especially a religious one. So it's good. It's good to go to the other festivals, even LGBT's one, and let them to see how we look at these subjects and how the religious people in Iran can, face these kind of things. And also in Iran, we can have the feedback of these festivals. So I put the decision in the hands of the festival planner in America. And up by now, there are many LGBT film festivals that have screened the film, and the film has won their prizes. For example, in Seattle, in Montreal, in Toronto, in Melbourne, in Hamburg, after San Francisco, in fact, in Illinois, in Philadelphia, in many states in America, and also different countries in Europe. In London, in Dublin, and now I think this film is working and giving an opportunity to the different people to come close to the other cultures. And in Qom, there was other side. I wanted to start the screening, the releasing of the film in Qom, but according to the conflict that we had in Iran now, we had during that time, they said no. Even the film had the permission of doing that. But then there's a very famous university in Qom that is, the name is Mufid University, and they asked me to screen the film over there and have a Q&A with the students and also with some clergymen. And in the panel beside us, me, the director, and the two actresses, and also they were only for us, there was also a clergyman who has written 2 books about transgenders in Iran, and he was admiring the film, and many conservative people also were admiring the film over there. And it was very important for me to see such a long line of people around the world can have same idea about the film and find the message of the film so easily.
I have one last question, and that can go to both of you. Also you, Ghazale Shakeri, who played one of the main characters, Rana, the taxi driver in the film. Recently in Iran, you have had a presidential election, and the 2 characters in this film represent 2 very different kinds of people. Concerning the elections, how do you think these 2 role figures look at the election and the future of Iran?
About the election, maybe first I have my own point of view, but for Adine, I think he has so much problem with himself. Maybe he doesn't have time to think about some politic things. But I think in our country, besides all politic things, for these kind of stories, there are some other problems or some other stories. It doesn't depends on these kind of things, because culturally we have some problem with this situation. So, and I think it takes times, and I think cultural solutions can work much more better than all the others. I don't know if I could say what I wanted or not.
I think he was asking that how do you imagine that these two type of people can look at the election symbolically, you mean?
See the result
and
of
see
it.
the result of
What
it.
are these two characters' future in Iran?
منظورش که این دو تا
خب میخوای من فارسی بگم تو ترجمه کنی؟ من الان خستم. من فکر I prefer to speak in Persian right now because I'm a little bit tired and I'm not sure if I can say it in English or not, so I say that she will translate it. فکر میکنم نگاه این دو نفر به انتخابات مثل همه ایرانیای دیگه این روزها یه کمی امیدوارانه تره، ولی اینی که برای هر کدوم از اینا چه اتفاقی قرار در آینده بیفته، الان اینا یه سری درگیری‌های شخصی و خانوادگی دارن، شاید اونا تو زندگیشون الان بیشتر تاثیر بذاره، ولی حال این دوتا هم میتونه مثل خیلی های ایرانیای دیگه این روزها از این چند ساله، از این 8 ساله بهتر باشه.
She thinks that these two characters, just like most of the people in Iran, can have more hope now. But when you go to the situation of these two characters, normally at the beginning they have family problems that they have to solve it. And after that, when some changes goes to the both families, then they can change their situation or their mind. And now we have, this is my helpful answer, in fact. You know, here among all type of the people, you have more hope by Mr. Rouhani's election. It doesn't mean that something will happen very soon, very straight and very clear about these types of things. But it means that the people now, from now on, can think about most of the problems and the matters in a better way. They are, now more free of having some conflict with the governors and the government and the people who decide for them, and they can solve the problems more friendly and look at the other matters more humanistically.
Ghazale Shakeri and Fereshteh Taerpour, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.